Welcome to another daily devotional look back at the Christmas programs of the past. Today we have a song from 2018 called We Need a Little Love. It was true in 2018 and it's still true today. We need a little love. Enjoy.
It sounds so good. But these speakers here above my head, this is their last day to actually bring sound out to you. Next week when you arrive, it'll be all new speakers. These were used out of Simpson College Chapel. We didn't have much money back then. It's all we could get. But they've done well. In fact, I don't know when they've ever sounded so good. It's kind of like they're telling us, please don't get rid of us. We also had new sound panels arrive, and a gentleman came and he pulled a semi in that all the new panels in the back here, this wall and behind me right here, in front of me, backed the semi in, and he got out, and I went out to meet him, and he said, do you have any help to help unload this? I said, well, I'll see if I can find someone. And Matt was around, and so we got Matt, and we were out there, and he looked at me, and he said, this is a big box. It's really heavy. I said, okay. And we thought we maybe would have to take it apart in the semi. And so we got it down, and he had thankfully a lift on the back of the semi, and we lifted this big pallet down, and he had this jack, and we were bringing it in. And I asked him, I said, well, what's our responsibility? I mean, I just want to make sure that we're doing everything that we need to do. And we got into the church. We had to take this little pillar out of the church doors, in between the church doors, and we brought this in, and he looked at me, and he said, you guys are so nice and so kind. And I thought to myself, well, I think this is what we would do for anybody. We're not really trying to do something. I mean, we're just trying to be nice, but just normal, I think. And then we got inside the narthex right here, and he looks at the church, and he could see it, and the doors were open, and he's looking around, and we're unloading this big box, and he said, I watched church online. He said, I used to go to church. And I've often found that sometimes people come into church, they need to make a confessional, you might find that sometimes too. But I said, well, that's always an interesting line when someone says, I used to. And in fact, he said, I used to go to United Methodist Church. I said, I was even more intrigued. And then he said, I live about 20 miles away. But I said, well, you can watch us online. And then said, would you be interested in some more information about the church? And I went over and I gave him a welcome bag. And what's so fascinating is that he came here delivering sound panels, and we were able to give him a welcome bag. And it was just so moving for me to hear somebody say, well, you guys are so kind. What would happen? What would happen if we looked at other people in the world that we would meet from now through Christmas, and we tried to make their day better? We tried to just maybe give, you ever been in that situation where you're driving your car into a parking lot and you got that spot picked out, you're going to get it, and then someone else comes in? You know what I'm talking about? What would happen if we just said, you have it? It's not easy to do. It's not easy to do. Maybe somebody else is in line, you can tell they're in a hurry, and you let them have your spot. I don't know what it might look. What would happen if we could change that in this world? What would happen if we would give a little love? A little love. That's what this world needs.